welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 534. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Mark Augustiniak.
Hey.
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, we're covering winter in video games. The holiday season, the cold times made way into digital form. Top, bottom, below, in between, everything. We'll talk the games, the events, anything tied to winter in video games. But first, Mark, what video game did you want most for Christmas as a child?
The most. Probably Super Mario 64. I technically got it, but it was a Blockbuster rental.
Mm-hmm.
Got the 64 in other games, but that one was apparently very hard to acquire. So, a rental it was.
But you got it, and I guess you spent the rest of the winter playing the Nintendo 64.
Sure did. Yep. Glued to it.
Yeah. Matt, did you have a specific game you asked for?
I'm having issues remembering the games. I just remember, more specifically, really wanting the consoles when I got them. More so PlayStations.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
No, the consoles were big. What did the big fat man in red bring you?
Oh, I mean, growing up, from what I can remember, Super Nintendo was always in the house, and then PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 all came via Santa Claus.
You did not have a GameCube?
Nope. Had a Wii.
Okay. PlayStation is a strong Christmas memory. I remember getting that system. I remember spending that whole week break in between Christmas and New Year's just playing, I don't remember, Twisted Metal, Crash Bandicoot. They were definitely
I don't remember what I got for PlayStation 1 at launch, but definitely PlayStation 2. I remember Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything. I just remember Tony Hawk. And then
but that was back then. I feel like I only ever got games. I primarily got games birthday and Christmas. I had the bonus of having a younger brother with a birthday in a different quarter than mine, so that kind of brought us some video games. We got to get those little things staggered, and then, but I feel like there were a lot of times, especially the PlayStation era, where Target and Best Buy would start to have the discount sections, or the greatest hits would start popping up. And I remember often just being in Target or Best Buy on a random weeknight and oh, that's on sale for $9. And we'd just come home with, Wetrix for the Nintendo 64. Just still a banger. Do you have a video game memory tied to winter or Christmas or the holiday season, or just...
Yeah, I don't know what year it was. I'm pretty sure I got Lego Racers for 64 for Christmas one year. I can't remember if it was the following year or what. And it was we had a couple of racing games shared between me and my brothers. And I just remember just playing through a lot of those. But it was mostly I believe it was mostly Lego Racers and maybe San Francisco Rush.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, for some reason PJs, actual Legos around me, and then also playing that game while the only source of light was the living room window, and of course it's just nothing but snow blindness peering in. So
nothing better.
Didn't need electricity besides my TV to light up that house. Yeah, good times.
I remember for years growing up, like my parent would go over to someone's house for breakfast, and then most of those people at that breakfast kind of came back over for our house for dinner. And for a few years, you would never see me because I would be in my room just playing whatever I got that year. And I might come down on occasion to eat some like pepperoni and cheese because it was quick to throw on a plate and run back upstairs with.
Yep.
Good finger food. Yeah, I cannot remember if I beat Tony Hawk's Underground because I also got that the following year after 4 for Christmas. I cannot remember if I beat Tony Hawk's Underground in that day or if I just beat it like December 26th. Like I got so far Christmas that I wrapped it like the following morning. But it was like 1 in the morning.
Was long too.
Yeah, it was like 1 in the morning that day. I'm like popping the what was like the McTwist over the helicopter in Hawaii. I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is awesome."
I remember we had to do like different grandparents on different days. There was like a Christmas Eve event, a Christmas Day event, and then there was sometimes it'd be the day after Christmas, but depending on which day of the week Christmas fell, it might end up being like just the next Saturday closest to Christmas kind of thing was a different grandparent. And I remember that final one, it was always like, well, this is the one where we're going to get Game Boy games. So we'd always, I don't know why, but like that set of family would always give Game Boy games. So we'd always bring our Game Boys so we could then spend as much time at that event playing whatever we got, and then worm light on the car ride home, etc., etc. I remember getting Home Alone 2 for Christmas, the NES game, which Mark, I think you remember my strong adoration for that pile of trash. I still don't know why that was made the way it was made.
Wait, NES or SNES?
No, this is NES.
Okay.
And like, I don't know if it was one of those things where, they put out those licensed games on every platform and NES got the short end of the stick, so to speak. But I just remember getting sucked into vacuums in the hotel lobby, a guy throwing beads at you that hurt you for some reason. It's a mess. It's a strong mess.
Shit, what year was it? What year did the DS come out?
2004, technically.
Okay.
It was like December 2004.
I got that for Christmas, and it had the demo of like Metroid Prime Hunters or something like that, and I got Madden for the DS, and Ping Pals, I believe.
Oh, that's your favorite.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That was such a misleading game. Holy crap. But I remember my other friend Joe, he used to live like down the street from me. He got a DS as well. And I remember like I think we might have caught each other first because we didn't have cell phones just yet. So we had to like we called each other to walk outside to the end of our yards because we shared an alley, so we could see each other down the alley, and then that was just enough range to activate PictoChat for us just to say hi and draw some dumb picture, and then we went back inside. Had to go outside to send a text message and then go back in.
I like that. That was revolutionary at the time, though, right? Like, the fact that you had something in the palm of your hand, you could communicate with somebody, that was...
I mean, like outside of, like, owning, like, a Virgin mobile phone and, like, yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, there were phones for sure, but when we were teenagers...
But for that, to draw a picture and stuff, like...
Yeah, you weren't doing that. Not without, like, AIM or something. But even that was so, like... relegated to the...
It was such a weird transition because, like, dial-up was still a thing in my house. Like, everyone else was probably broadband or whatever. But yeah, it was a weird transition in technology around that time.
We all adopted it in weird ways because there was no set standard. You didn't know what it was all over the place, and it was dependent on your area in some cases. It was none of it was ubiquitous the way it is now, and even now it's still kind of, it's up to preference and availability and whatever. It's Well, outside of just random memories that we have, there are some video games I jotted down as being notable for having some sort of holiday or winter theme or things like that. So I'm going to kind of just read through some things and we can talk about those games or the events within. If you have games you remember that have a winter or Christmas vibe to them, feel free to call them out. I'll start with a game that I think is everyone's first answer when thinking of a Christmas video game. And I'll start by saying I don't like it. And as recently as last night, reminded myself that I don't like it. It's Nights into Dreams. Have you guys played Nights into Dreams, the Christmas version? Or any of the versions, I should say?
No.
Played is a strong word. Have I gotten overwhelmed and not knowing what to do in that game? Yes, plenty of times. I don't think I've ever accurately played that game.
No, me neither. And maybe it's because there's less to it than I'm giving it credit for, but I don't understand how it's a game. Like, I do, but like it's...
Yeah. I've always wanted to like it.
Yeah, I wanted to too, but like coming from the Sonic team, you're thinking like, okay, there's like zones, right? But no, it's just the same thing.
It's a fever dream.
Yeah. Matt, have you seen Nights? Are you familiar with the gameplay of it?
Gameplay, no, but I did see, I had it on as a speed run in the background one day at work. So it was like one of those ones where I was like half paying attention, but when I would look over, it looked like such a mess. But I remember, the guys saying like it's visually the way it is because of the Saturn.
Yes, for sure. Honestly, the art direction I do like a lot, and like how weird and like claustrophobic it is. I kind of like it in a chaotic way, but playing it is a mess. You pick a boy or a girl, who is it? Elliot and Clarice, and then they go to sleep and walk through a thing and touch a clown baby, and you then control the clown lady baby, and you fly around through rings that turn into points, and I don't know. I don't think I've ever properly figured out how to play it. But Christmas Nights is an interesting version of the game. It's a Christmas themed version of the game. The like full gameplay is available in Christmas Nights, and it pulls your in-game clock. So I sent you guys a screenshot last night of me playing it and like had to set the time because it contains calendar activated features. So if you play within December, then all of the item boxes get replaced with Christmas presents, rings, and wreaths. If you play during April Fool's Day, the main character swaps out. There's changes that happen, but it's just, I don't know, not good at it. Not good at it at all. I don't have much. Because I'm not good at it and I never got competent, I just don't generally like the game. But I feel like it'd be weird to not mention it because it's so. Every time I run into a conversation about Christmas video games, Christmas Nights is the first thing that comes out of people's mouths. So I feel it's important to mention it, but I don't think I like it. I like the character. I like the approach. I like the appearances in other games like Billy Hatcher and, Sonic and All-Stars. Don't like the game.
It's an acquired taste.
Hitman, however. That one I do like. I think we all like Hitman. That one, I completely forgot about it, but we actually have a video on the website of us playing through it. There's the Hitsmas. I don't know if it was actually called Hitsmas. But
that's a good name.
The Christmas-themed mission where your targets are Harry and Marv. And you're not required to, but Agent 47 can find and wear a Santa costume during the mission.
I love that.
Yeah. And we actually, I didn't realize we had 20 episodes of Hitman with a Hammer, but listeners, if you want to see us play through that, head on over to thefreecheese.com, look up Hitman with a Hammer, episode 13. Yeah, you have to find the sticky bandits.
What level was that? Was that on the first one?
I think it was in Paris, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hit play on this video and find out for sure. Oh, this is like, we weren't even putting ourselves on camera for this. This is just voiceover and gameplay, man. Yes.
The good days.
I know. No, this is Paris, for sure.
Okay. Did we walk in front of the camera lady?
Yeah. I should reinstall this game. Play that at some point.
I did was it in 2 or it was 3, I think. They kind of brought that back, that little moment of walking in front of a camera when there's like a news report.
I don't think I played all the way through the campaign for 3, so...
It's like not to get too off track, it's the cocktail party. Where you're actually meeting... Who's your handler? Diana? Who's the one that signs you all the missions? That seems... Anyway.
I have no idea.
You actually meet her in person in this level.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a giant cocktail party. It's like outdoors, indoors. It's like a whole... I think it's
like the fashion runway, right?
I don't think it's a fashion runway. It's like a winery.
That was the Paris level.
Yeah.
That was the first Hitman.
Yeah, it's like a winery in this one. It's like, because you can go into the depths of like their
I remember
cabinet.
Yeah, you go way down and there's like restaurant workers, right?
Yeah.
Not restaurant, but like they're in like busboy attire.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, but then I think like as you're walking down that first initial driveway, there's a person like reporting news or something, and you can walk in front of the camera, like the old,
pretty good,
like the old Easter egg.
I need to go I never finished. I feel like I didn't play enough of 3 because at that point, I think 3 came out on Game Pass maybe, and it felt weird like starting from scratch. It just wasn't the same.
We can turn it to the Hitman episode. I would encourage you just to replay all those missions just once and then go head first into that crazy like roguelike mode that they
I did do some of the roguelike stuff.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I did that.
I was not good at it, but it was awesome.
No, yeah, I never did well, but it was a good time. Outside of Hitman killing, who was it? Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. Twisted Metal always reminds me of Christmas. I think there's the obvious, like, I got that game for the PlayStation 1 during that time, but also there is a level where there's people ice skating and there's like little lit Christmas trees and stuff, and there's, I think, Jingle Bells playing in the background, or at least that's like the sound in my head. Twisted Metal has a Christmas vibe with me for sure.
Probably had like sleigh bells in the background in general.
I think, yeah. Plus later on we'd get, the Rob Zombie soundtracks, and that kind of is Christmassy to me, so elements of that.
You
yeah.
I was gonna say, if you want to say the course for the podcast, or not the website, we did play Die Hard Trilogy. That's technically, if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, it's also considered a Christmas video game.
I do. Die Hard Trilogy is on this list of games I was going to bring up. That is 1,000%. Again, especially that first part of the Die Hard Trilogy, when you are working your way up through Nakatomi Plaza. Yeah, we actually recorded that. Man, we've done a lot of...
I'm pretty sure we did.
No, we did. I found it. It's on.
Am I misremembering? Like, was it like a little meme between us when wasn't it the main character saying like "Get the hell out of here"?
Yeah,
or something like that?
yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
it's ingrained.
Fake ass Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The first level, you're like walking through parking garages over and over again to disarm bombs and free hostages.
Right.
And judging by the...
And I think when you let them go is when he's like, get the hell out of here.
You want to stay alive? Stay with me. I have that stuck in my head too. Forever. I still feel like I say that at times just for fun. Yeah. That game rules, dude.
They define rules, you know?
Which...
is great. You love to play it and would play it again and again and again.
Was that a Capcom or a Sega game?
I don't know. The video we have up, we skipped the opening cutscene.
It is Fox Interactive.
Sure.
Fox?
Developer Probe Entertainment, which I do not know who they are.
Maybe I'm thinking of the arcade game. Isn't that one different?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I can't remember if they actually used John McClane's name or not, but whoever made that one, what is that one strategy game? It was like Namco cross Capcom or whatever. Can't remember if it's the first one or the sequel that was on 3DS or whatever, but John McClane is a playable character.
Oh, that's rad. The sequel's on 3DS. I forget the oh my god, what is the name of that? Because the sequel is Capcom, Namco, and Sega. And they made two of them. I don't know why I can't think of that.
I don't think it's Capcom. I think it might have been... I'm thinking Sega. I think it was a Sega arcade game.
Yeah, according to one Wikipedia, there's a Die Hard arcade, but it's released... I'm seeing Sega Saturn, I think.
That is correct. That's, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
it's an arcade beat-em-up video game released by Sega.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, because it has the Fox Interactive logo on the cover of the Sega Saturn art that I'm seeing, but Wikipedia is very much saying that internal Sega developer made it and Sega published it, which makes sense because it was an exclusive to Saturn.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Of course, the second stage of that is the first-person shooter, where you're at the Dulles airport trying to shoot out the terrorists. And then the third part is like a weird Crazy Taxi knockoff where you're trying to race to stop bombs in I think it's Central Park.
Insane game.
Yeah, truly one of the best. Speaking on theme with the podcast and the website and our history, a game we played this year takes place around Christmas time. Do you guys remember?
When we played this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the calendar.
Is it Costume Quest? No, sorry. I'm thinking of Grubbins on the Ice, which is DLC in the first one, and it wasn't really that festive. But
no, I did mention I had a side note for Costume Quest because there is the Grubbins on Ice DLC for one, and the animated series had a Christmas special kind of thing.
Right.
But no, Snatcher is the one I'm thinking of.
Oh.
All that stuff that happens around Christmas time in Snatcher.
You're right.
Was it?
Yeah. In the remember when you have to go to the plaza to meet?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely remember because Napoleon was Santa Claus at one point, right?
Yeah, and I think around that, like, you can see like there's like little comments if you like click around the background and stuff. It's like people are going shopping for Christmas and there's lights and stuff, decorations.
Right. Or there might be that tree there too. I can't remember.
I think there might be, yeah.
Wasn't now that I'm looking at this list, wasn't Lifeline Christmas? Wasn't that first party a Christmas party?
If it wasn't Christmas, it was New Year's.
I thought it was New Year's.
Oh, well,
but
close.
You could tie
6
that
days
around
later.
to
That's
it.
a winter, yeah, dude.
It's all in space anyway, so you couldn't really get like a good feel for things.
But of course, right in line, 100% winter, Christmas specifically. You already know?
I think so.
Parasite Eve.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game that closed out our season 10 last year.
Yeah, I specifically made sure to put it in that slot last year.
Yeah, but that one is wholly synonymous with Christmas. Like, I kind of, like, as we were getting closer to December, I've been like, should I replay Parasite Eve? And then I remember that I never finished 2, and I should probably just do that instead, but...
Or don't. You don't need to.
Yeah. How far did you get in that one?
I got to the Dinosaur Museum, I think.
They have a second dinosaur museum, and like the second game also has one.
Oh shit! Is there? Now, hold on.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just
that's definitely like that's definitely like the third act of the first game.
Yeah. No. After you questioned me, I was like, oh shit! Wait, hold on. No, there's definitely like another museum though, and Parasite Eve 2. That's like I think it's probably in its third act. I'm looking. Hold on. I'm gonna need a second here.
But yeah, that's always one that I wish was a movie because I would definitely want to watch it again around this time.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't know. Maybe the book. I doubt the book. I don't know. Maybe, but I have a copy of the book in English. I've just not started it.
Right. I forgot about that whole like meta-ness about the novel and the game.
I do know that the third birthday takes place around Christmas, though. Even if 2 is not perfectly aligned with holiday, the third one does bring it back.
Maybe it's just me, but it does feel like games outside of the US, mostly in Japan, I feel like love the festivities more than we do. They really grab a hold of it.
I know that, like, when I went to Japan, like, they were super into Halloween. Because we were there, like, right before Halloween. But,
yeah.
Everything was decorated.
Maybe
like,
they just love holidays.
I think would be decorated. And, I think they do the same thing for Christmas or anything like that. I think they're big. I mean, the one thing I know about Japan and Christmas specifically is the all of the crazy KFC. Like, it's tradition to have KFC for Christmas dinner. They have like a whole KFC bucket. Like it's a thing.
Wow. You know what?
I was also very wrong about Parasite Eve 2. It's called what I'm thinking of is called the Neo Arc. It's it gets into the weeds.
Gotcha.
But no, like I think Japan. I think a lot of other countries do. They lean hard into those things in a way. Because here, I think and it's not to say that it's not like this anywhere else where it's been commercialized, but it's been so especially commercialized that I don't know. We oversaturate everything, but it's weird because I say we oversaturate it like that's a bad thing, but then I'm saying in other places where it's everywhere, it's not oversaturated, but there's a different flavor to it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like here, all I can like summarize it into is like Hallmark. And then, like, of course your favorite shows will have, like, maybe some sort of Christmas episode or whatever, but, like, outside of that, I could just say, like, it's Hallmark and Target, and then that's really it. But, like, Japan, it's, like, it's more so when, like, in video games, like, even, like, anime pop-up shops have, like, their own exclusive, like, festive, so, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little more nuanced, I guess.
Like, we're saturated to a point, but then it stops. I think there's, like, a total wash that happens.
Yeah.
Thinking of Japan specifically, where, like, literally everything, and, like, I'm basing this off the Halloween element, but, like, it was, like, you'd walk by, like, a dentist's office, and they had Halloween decorations on the outside, and the next door was, like, a place that you could get coffee, and they had not only everything decked out, but, like, their little chalkboard on the street had Halloween decorations, and, like, I think it's, like, that level of, like, everybody's in. I think that's the difference. It's, like, when everybody's in, then we can all have a good time.
Japan's better at commercialism.
Yeah.
They do it right.
They do. And then there's Clay Fighter 63 and a third.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Which, I don't know. To me, it's synonymous with, like, winter and whatever.
Yeah. I used to be obsessed with Clay Fighters. By the time I got to that game, I was kind of starting to fall off, but I will not forget Santa stretching his gut out as a weapon.
Yeah.
It was
I guess you're right. There was Clay Fighters before this, too. I just always remember.
Yeah, it started on Super Nintendo, and then then it made its way over. But yeah, like, I guess because of those older movies like Rudolph and stuff, you know, like, having, like, claymation or, like, stop motion stuff around the holidays is kind of like a staple.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but I think, yeah, you're right. It also didn't hurt that you had Bad Mr. Frosty, the fighting snowman, and
he's a better one to
Santa
remember
in the game, as well Santa, as, of course, Booger Man.
And Earthworm Jim.
Right, yeah. Was he a main character or unlockable?
I think him and Boogerman were only in the 64 one, or 63 and a third, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Blockbuster exclusive.
I think you're right.
You could only rent it. Bizarre.
Really, yeah.
Not a good game, but...
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think it reviewed well. I think even then I knew it was bad. You know what I mean? Like, that was one of those ones playing it as a kid where I was like, this is not a good game.
Yeah, like, when I played on Super Nintendo, I liked the blobby character. It was just like a green blob. You could just turn into things, like a boot or like a trophy or whatever, and then then I was done with it, and then I just realized that did not age well at all, even when it first came out.
Yeah. I do remember mistaking, what did they call him? Ichabod Clay?
Oh, yeah.
I did mistake him for Jack Skellington for the better part of a decade.
I can understand that. It's the hands and the head.
Yeah. To bring it a little bit more modern, Yakuza Kiwami specifically had some Christmas tie-ins. Did you guys play Yakuza 1?
I'm still on 0. I refuse to play anything else until I get through 0.
It's so tough to break into those games at this, like, it's, you gotta just kind of do it.
I've decided I'm just sticking to the new series. I got another ground floor. Right. I might be missing a lot of references, but it's fine.
I think, there's no wrong answer, right? Like, is, like, GTA 5 worse by having not played GTA 3, 4, or 2? You know what I mean? Like,
I did hear that, like, 0 was highly favored more over than some of the other ones, just because how that one came later and they added better stuff in that, and the other ones are kind of just like ports, so they don't have that same level of polish or something. But
yeah, I always see people recommend 0 or 6 to newcomers because they're both like same engine, same level of whatever. But,
right.
Yeah.
I'll see.
But yeah, Kiwami, it doesn't necessarily, it's not like a Christmas game, but it does take place around that time. And,
well, I mean, if we go by the Die Hard rules, right?
True, exactly. But for me, I first started Yakuza around like, I remember it was like a winter break from us recording the podcast. I had some time and it was there for the grabbing, and I grabbed it and jumped right in. But spiritually, prior to Yakuza, of course, there's Shenmue, which, Matt, you have played all the way through.
I have, yes.
And I did not realize, having not completed Shenmue, that like Christmas and New Year's have a whole...
Yes, the town transforms. I forget the name of the town, but yes.
And that's baked into the actual story?
I forget specifically if like any main quest require winter to come. But like I remember there's like a drunken like Santa always walking around that you could talk to, and I think something happened to talk to him enough. Yeah, but like the whole town like Christmas lights I believe go up if I remember correctly. Then there's like snow on the ground. Yeah, it kind of just becomes part of the world.
Yeah, there's like
as you're
Christmas
making your
wreath hung
appointments
up at the bakery. Snow everywhere. Santa Claus will come around.
Yeah, if you stay home enough and open all the drawers in your home, after enough time, Christmas will come.
I just thought of another question to close. I'll save that. We'll close out on that. But to swing it back again, more modern. Oh, and I did not mean to. Sorry, I did not mean to literally say to swing it back again. But here we go. Spider-Man Miles Morales is just all Christmas right there. That one I really loved. It seemed like something that Insomniac just wanted to show off what they could do on a PS5, but the ability to just have so much snow pouring through as you're swinging, that was a lot of fun. And you can control weather in the settings, and you can just make it snow nonstop if you prefer. Oh, wow. So that.
Oh, I didn't know you could control the weather in the settings. That's pretty neat. I know there's all kinds of stuff in 2 that I messed around. Sorry, I didn't mess around all the way with it, but I messed around with a couple things because there's some costume related things.
Are we past the point where we can talk about that stuff yet? I know in a couple weeks we'll have our
costume. Yeah, I would think, but
maybe not. Yeah. All right. What costume things?
The across the Spider-Verse stuff. The Miles Morales.
Oh, changing with the like glitchy anime. Yeah. That was cool.
And I kept the comic book. I kept that throughout the rest of my playthrough once I got that costume, like the kapow, the little. No, that's all. That's all I wanted to say. There was nothing.
No, those are neat touches.
They had that Miles Morales though, because they had his Into the Spider-Verse costume. Because that was one of the first games I got on PS5 when I bought my PS5. It was one of 2 games I think that I could only get.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. But I didn't get a PS5 for like a year and change after it released. Something like that, yeah. And at that point, it was like, well, what do I buy? I guess Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, there still weren't that many. But I remember playing that one and activating that suit or putting that suit on. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then that effect is like one of the sub abilities or something in that game. So even when you change suits, it still keeps it on, but I didn't realize what was happening, and I thought like the frame rate output from the PS5 was broke. I was like in PS5 settings trying to fix stuff. I was like, what did I break? What did I do? I restarted the PS5 and the game, and like was like, wait a second, I'm an idiot. Especially an idiot because I like did it and thought I was like, oh, that's cool, they did this effect, but I'm done with this now. I'm going to change the suit, and it didn't go away, and I was like, oh, I glitched the game, I broke it. It's a bug. Another superhero-related Christmassy, wintry game, Batman Returns for the Sega Genesis and every other platform back then. But that all takes place right around Christmas season, as does the movie.
So you have another Batman game that takes place on Christmas, too.
Which is?
Arkham Origins.
The next on my list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude. That one had...
No, you were saying like the definitive Batman Christmas game. I was like, there's a second one that I played.
No, yeah. Returns, though, is always synonymous with winter, because that movie is like always snowing, and the iconic shots of Catwoman in the department store window with snow falling in the background, always really pretty.
Danny DeVito eating fish.
Of course, classic. No, the marketing for Arkham Origins, I remember just like all the snowy commercials and stuff like that. But yeah, that whole game it takes place on Christmas as well, right? Like it's
if it's not on Christmas, it is like Christmas Eve, because it is very much
yeah.
Because they play into all that with the Joker stuff and that's a solid one. Rounding out, I did not mean for this to be the last thing I had written down, but here we go. Duke Nukem 3D.
I was unaware that was at Christmas. I never played Duke Nukem 3D.
Not necessarily fully Christmas, but there's a Christmas section in the game.
I don't think that made it to 64. Or I can't remember it.
I don't know if it did or not. But it was an expansion for 3D called Nuclear Winter. It's all Christmas themed, etc. It might not have been in 64 now that I am looking.
Yeah, I used to play Duke Nukem with like all the cheat codes and everything. I don't remember going through that, unless like if I did see it, I'd probably purposefully not play it or something.
That definitely had the vibe of like people making a Doom mod and making it Christmas theme. You know what I mean? It's very much in that.
Right, like nothing really changed except for like a couple sprites or something.
Yeah, exactly. This thing is now a Christmas tree instead of a regular tree.
I don't know. I always related to Christmas because of the Blizzard, but I don't think it takes place during Christmas. But Max Payne, another game on our list.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one is... I'm with you. It's definitely winter, like for sure winter. I don't know if it's set at Christmas or just winter itself, but...
Of course, it would take me years to I still don't understand it, but I know the more I played it, the more I started to get it. Was Home Alone for Super Nintendo.
How does that one
I used to play that a lot.
Is it better than a bad side-scrolling platformer? Because that's all I remember of the...
It's still a side-scrolling platformer, but you're just in your house. And I forget why you have to collect treasures and drop them down the laundry chute into the basement. I think it was to like have something to climb up on later. I don't know. It got to a point where like you would have different weapons you would cycle through. You had your squirt gun, you had your slingshot and everything, and you would have to try to avoid the wet bandits. And then if it was ever a game over or something, it would show stills from the movie, and the infamous scream that he had would also be bit crushed in there. It was just weird. He has bad posture in that game. If you try to look up any gameplay of that, like how he runs and jumps, it's like his back is like super hunched and his legs are always bent. Like
okay, so they use the same animation in Home Alone 2.
Probably that would make sense
because it's like a weird slide, but his legs are like completely smashed and compressed into
Yeah, that was such a weird game. But I don't know why I kept going back to it.
Why didn't they make Home Alone just a tower defense game?
They should have at this point. I'm surprised no one. That has to be an itch game.
It's tower defense, the movie.
I feel like Hitman's a perfect successor.
That's You have intrigued me to go back and revisit Home Alone 1, or like go play the SNES ones, because maybe I just had maybe the NES games were the bad ones.
Probably. You're definitely more limited in that field.
Yeah, they couldn't. Yeah, but boy, was that not a fun time.
And this is a very small one. I think I've only played it like once or twice. But in Payday 2, there's a heist you can do in a mall, and it's during Christmas time, where you have to wait for a helicopter evac, and you have to wait by the tree. So you're just like having a shootout with the cops and everything coming out of all these different stores within the mall, and you have to go get different things that all your different bags and gifts and throw them at like around a tree or whatever. Helicopter comes in with like this huge claw thing and actually like removes that chunk of the floor with the tree from the mall out through the ceiling. Like,
pretty good.
Taking everything you can, you take the tree with it. That's pretty good.
Payday 2? Right, because did 3 come out finally?
Yeah.
It's in early access, but yeah.
Okay. I have 2 more questions before we wrap up, but I'll say Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. That feels Christmassy to me. I don't know why. Maybe not Christmassy, but like winter. And I know there's more than just a winter stage in that.
Didn't bring much joy the holiday season is supposed to bring.
Oh man, that was a gift.
I do always remember hockey games around this time of year as well.
Sure. Yeah. When would the Winter Olympics take place?
They are usually
February.
late January, early February.
Okay. But that too, like,
I love the Winter Olympics. Like, even like playing the games on 64 that I had, it was like I wasn't good at it, but I was always more interested in watching that more than the Summer Olympics.
They're just weirder sports. I feel like the Summer Olympics, it's like known quantities. Like, yeah, I know that. But like Winter Olympics, it's always like, let's pull out this weird ball and put it on a stick and throw it in the ice and see how many times we can do that.
You got the speed skating, you got the bobsled, you got the one skiing with the gun. I don't forget what that's called.
You know
what I'm talking about?
That's the cross country skiing. But sorry, I think there's. Is that cross country skiing, or is it like cross country skiing with the target? Right now, I don't remember. But I think there's regular cross country skiing without the shooting, and then there's the cross country skiing with the shooting.
They actually use a gun in this, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's like
they have like a little rifle, and they like shoot these like targets in the distance. And yeah,
you're not just talking about Ring of Elysium.
No.
I wish. It's like training to be a hitman or something, and you just like in the Alps.
Huh.
Yeah, and if you miss your target, you have to go like in this little like
you have to go ski for him and hunt him down with a knife.
No, it's a little additional I think it's like a 1/4 mile lap, and for each target you missed, you have to take a lap, and it adds onto your time. That's your penalty.
Oh, you got curling. Anyway,
curling's the best.
Yeah.
Once every 4 years, I get way into it. Hard.
I know it's like hard. I know it's like an obvious one, but I want to highlight Animal Crossing.
No, yeah, I'm glad you did.
More specifically for GameCube. I mean, all the games have it. Obviously, it follows your internal system clock, and holidays ensue. But I liked it more specifically with the one on GameCube. Just it just felt more, I don't know, I guess just because of how rigid that game was and unpolished, had some kind of charm to it. But like building a snowman and then you actually comes to life, and then throughout the days of that month you have to like keep doing things to get gifts and all that stuff. It was cool.
So I didn't play Animal Crossing until New Leaf on 3DS, but that one you could build a whole snow family. Was that back there in the original as well?
Just the one, I believe.
This was like you'd build the snow family, and depending on how you organize them or whatever, you got different gifts and different things from.
I know there was like a weight distribution of like you could have a tiny body and a big head, and like I'm not sure if the pitch changed, like the tone of the little
that's
talking.
Funny. Yeah.
I don't know if that would change or not, but it would be acknowledged that you made a lopsided snowman.
Yeah.
Now I think that's a good point, that like a lot of live service games now have something.
Yeah.
Yeah, even MMOs.
That's my last my last question was kind of around that, was really like, is there a game that stands out that you like to play during this time of year? Something where you are given a Santa hat or the ability to wander in the snow, and I think of Animal Crossing for sure. I know a couple of years ago, Phantasy Star Online 2 did a thing. They probably still do. I just haven't played it in a while. But I remember snow being in the lobby. And stuff
the Christmas music, and no, I think it's still a thing.
I know, like, I don't know, Warzone, I think Krampus is one I wasn't playing as much, but on the Vanguard map, there was, and Krampus was, like, around, and he would, like, pop up and, like, chase you and shoot at you and, like, potentially kill you.
That's cool.
If you're in a certain area at the wrong time.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And then some of the more iconic maps, they got like its own like playlist. They will put up like lights on like the shipping containers and stuff, to make it more decorative. I always remember a GTA Online let you throw snowballs. I don't know why it always sticks with me.
I was just thinking that. I was about to ask. Like, I couldn't remember if it was that game that I played or something else that did it, but yeah, I remember doing that a lot.
There is an upcoming event in Splatoon 3. They're calling it Frosty Fest. At the time of this recording, there's no date or details, but it's the next Splatfest, and the whole lobby and everything will be decked out in snow and snowmen and lights and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
I'll probably play that.
I never remember when it comes. That's my biggest problem.
No, I do the same thing. Like the other day I saw on the Switch dashboard, like the little news thing, it had like a Splatfest results, and I was like, there was a Splatfest, and I looked and it was like, here's results from the last, and I was like, oh, I remember the Halloween one, but other than that, there's been so many I had no idea they even happened.
Is there like a video game song that you correspond with the times?
Some stuff from Sonic. There's a handful of Sonic songs that stick out to me as Christmas. There's also a Rob Zombie song that's in Twisted Metal 3 that sticks out to me as Christmas.
I had one, but now I got two.
Oh?
I mean, classic Mario 64, the snow level.
Oh, good call, dude. Yeah, I always think of that penguin level around this time of year.
You can't, cannot, always think of that. But now, thanks to this podcast and, freaking, Hypnospace Outlaw.
Dude, okay. So I've had this sitting in our Discord chat ready to hit enter until the time was right because I didn't want to throw you off, but
Man. Christmas Pain and Christmas Town is going to be the new tradition for me.
It's so good.
Did you say snow good?
Snow good. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I will forever think of that this time of year.
I love it.
Too funny. Another one that happened last year that I jumped into, and I'm curious to see what happens this year. Halo Infinite had a winter thing last year. I remember they did like a mini battle pass that was like one of their free battle pass things or whatever. But there was like a whole Christmas themed thing where it was like, it only happened like that week in between like Christmas and New Year's. But if you played enough, you got a candy cane visor and you got grenades you could attach to yourself that were red and green. And like very shiny red and green too. So
like bulbs on a Christmas tree.
I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
The cool thing about Halo Infinite, with a bunch of its problems, but one of the cool things though, those battle passes you can go back to. You just select it and play through it.
Yeah. I do like that.
The one that you can with those, I feel like the thing I did with the Christmas specific stuff, I feel like that was one of those like weekly challenge things that you can't go back to.
Oh, maybe. Okay, well, yeah, the weekly challenges you can, but
you gotta wait a year.
Yeah.
I think I have that candy cane stuff though. Oh, maybe I don't. I don't know. Oh, no,
it might have. They also do a thing in that game where like after a certain period of time, certain things just become free for people. Okay. I found it. It's called Winter Contingency.
Yeah, I remember that battle pass. I've played through it. That was the one I played through most recently when I was.
I'm curious to check out whatever Final Fantasy XIV's doing.
Yeah, I need to buy.
I imagine they do something. Yeah.
They have. They go out for like everything. But before that, I used to really be into Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have similar events and stuff, and like you could throw snowballs, I believe, and all that other junk.
I'm looking through my list here. I think the only other thing I've got is after today's conversation. Is there anything that now you're itching to go play or experience for the winter season?
I've never finished Arkham Origins, and I feel like I only play that around the winter time.
Oh, yeah.
So I might finally do that.
It's a good one. I like that one a lot. I just replayed that a couple years back.
Yeah, Hitman's a good game.
Yeah. I'm definitely drawn to reinstall Hitman after remembering how good that is, and the fact that I never finished 3. I don't know. I've been on a Dreamcast kick, so I might go Shenmue. Not that that's full Christmas. I know that's only, an element within it, but
right. Still get a taste.
Yeah. And hopefully Halo Infinite does something cool.
They'll do something.
The Halo 3 stuff's been great, so if they keep along that line of thinking.
They'll have to do something because they have to compete with the COD train.
Yeah.
Because New Warzone, not to date this, but New Warzone is around the corner.
Well, speaking of competition, we'll be back next week to see the final 10 consoles in competition for our console ranking part 3. Go check out console ranking 1 and 2 if you've not heard them yet. And then come back next week and hear the final 10 get added to the list and ranked, of course, before we bring season 11 to a close here in a few weeks. Until then, enjoy your winter. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Nope. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. See you next week. Bye.